Thank you for reminding me that. Okay, let me start it over. So when I say institutes, we are talking about the finance, banking. Whenever we make a transaction, information is exchanged. Data is exchanged between the user and the banking system. Same thing happens with the institutions as well. Let's say, for example, you are holding an SBI ATM card, right? And you go to the HDFC Bank ATM and withdraw the money. You are a holder of SBI, you are withdrawing money from your account, but you are using HDFC services. Okay. The information is exchanged, whether it can be name, location, your account balance, and whatnot. Okay. So consider that millions of people doing this every day. Since the introduction of UPI or internet banking services, we don't have to go to ATM also. For single rupee to the millions of amount, we can do it from UPI or internet banking. So the amount of data being exchanged is from small scales to large scale. It can happen with any two people, any two institutes, within people and institutes. Okay. The meaning, the purpose to say this is basically the data is around you everywhere. Okay. Even if you don't want to be part of it, it will be part of you. When you log into your computer, when you open your internet browser, the data is exchanged between you and someone else. Okay. So that is the extensity of the data surrounding you. Okay. And that is why the data engineering comes into picture. Okay. Or traditionally it was called as ETL engineering. Some people may refer as cloud engineering. Okay. And etc. etc. Okay. So why do we need data engineering or ETL engineering and whatnot? Now, when you're exchanging, when you are seeing all these things, it's just a form of data. Okay. Let's say in your report card, we have subject wise marks, marks we obtained in each of the subject, right? So that's just the data. If I want to find out the percentage, I need to sum up your total marks. I need to find out what are the total marks, and then I need to apply the formula for percentage. Now, this is very simple example. Okay. Here, when I'm trying to get the percentage from your marks, what I'm doing is I'm converting the data into an information. Okay. Data information is useful. Information is used to derive decisions. Okay. So the large companies or even the small companies, they rely on data. Even the product placement, when I say product placement means, for example, you go to mall. Generally, when you go to mall, you may find that there are various products placed on near the billing section, and the product placement of that products near the billing section or in front of the billing section varies based on season to season. Let's say when there is a festive season, you'll find more festive items placed there. And if you are going, which is not a festive season or something, based on that given season, the product placement varies. The items which are, for example, childs or young people who like those items, they are generally placed at the lower section of the shelf so that they can easily approach and ask their parents to buy that item. And the items which are, not required by the children or they don't force for parents to buy them, they are generally placed at the higher side. So they don't even see those items. All these placement, all these stuffs, how they derive to make the decision is from the data that they received from one of their stores or multiple stores. They gathered it, they analyzed it, and then they derived to a decision. So this is all the background of our data engineering. And hence, every company, whether it's a small, medium, large, big four, big five, whatever you name it, they need data to derive the information. Whether if the company does not generate that data itself, they need the data from vendors to derive their decisions. If the company generating data themselves, when I'm saying company generating data themselves, it's product-based companies. Okay. Service-based companies, they do not generate data themselves. Then they are the vendors for the product-based companies. They might gather data from third party. Okay. And apart from that, every company has their internal data as well. So for example, let's say working in a company A and there are 100 employees in that. How do they derive the performance metrics for you? How do they derive the overall your behavior during the company? They analyze the data and then they give the information for that. It's not only about the person, the finances of each company. Each company has their own finances. How do they do it? Data, information, decision. That's all. Okay. Now, ETL comes into picturing it. The source of data can vary. It can be from a single point of source. It can be multiple point of source. Okay. But when we want to analyze the data and derive the decision, we need to onboard or bring that data at a single point. Okay. We need to claim that data. We need to remove any inconsistencies from the data. We need to put it at a single point, and then we derive the analytics from it, like chart, reports, and stuff, etc. Okay. That's why we need the data engine. Okay. Any question till this point?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not yet.
Okay. Now let's talk about on-premises versus cloud systems. Okay. So what do you mean by on-premises system? Prior to 2010, 2008, and it's not fixed the year, but it's something around 2007 and 8, the transformation has started to happen. Okay. Each company or everyone has their data stored locally. When I mean local, it means you all use computer, right? You must have laptop or desktop. When you buy a computer, a laptop, or desktop means desktop, including CPU, you get a memory in that. It's 256 SSD or 500 GB hard disk, or even a memory card or a inbuilt memory in your phone, right? So that storage is the local one. It only belongs to your computer. No one can access it unless you give an extensive permission to that person using shared drive. You need to connect the networks and stuff, all that. Okay. So that is local to your system, local to you. Okay. And that is basically in simple terms is on-premises system. Premises means the surrounding. On-premises means something which is located into that surrounding. Okay. In your laptop or in your CPU, whatever storage, okay, that is memory, whatever RAM and whatever compute, whatever processor you have, it only belongs to your computer. It is your local machine. Okay. Now put this example or put this scenario into a very vast company. Let's say we can take an example of a company called TCS or anything, it's fine. Okay. Now they have various projects going on. Okay. Now and a large compute, they need softwares, they need storages. Okay. How do they do that? They bring all those machines, like they bring all those memory stacks, they install it to some location wherever their offices are. They get the licenses of the software, they install it into various machines, and then people use it. Okay. Now, since they brought everything into their into their premises, into their office at a particular physical location, and they are using that well. Okay. This is on-premises system. Everyone clear on what is on-premises system?
Yes, sir.
Now, before I go into cloud, what are the advantage of on-premises system? We are learning cloud or people are moving into cloud. It doesn't mean that something is not good. Maybe there are some pointers which are very feasible into the other system. That's why people are moving from one system to other system. But there are still some advantages of on-premises system, and people still use on-premises system. Okay. The
Easy.
first and foremost, sorry.
Nothing, sir.
Yeah. Okay. The first and foremost advantage of on-premises system is this one. Okay. Security. Since everything is located where you know within your surrounding. It is not going out. The data which is came into your laptop is not going out unless you share it with someone, right? You don't need to worry about someone coming into system because your system is closed loop system. Unless you connect to internet, it won't go out or no one can access that. That's why it is the most secure system compared when we compare between cloud and on-premises. Okay. Second is you know what infrastructure you are using. You know what is the capacity of your overall infrastructure and stuff. I won't say these are advantages. These are basically few points that we can have within the on-premises system. Okay. Now let's talk about cloud. Many have misconceptions, or maybe you all know it very clearly, but just for the sake of saying, cloud doesn't mean that your data actually or your information or whatever it is doesn't actually reside into cloud. Okay, it's not somewhere above or something else like that. Okay, cloud means it's a remote thing. Okay, right now you are sitting somewhere, I'm sitting somewhere, and we're talking. So I'm right now at a remote location compared to you, but still I'm able to speak to you using something, some technology, right? So that's a remote thing. Okay. Now coming back to the cloud means, let's say a pool of resources. Okay. A pool of resources and we're accessing that. Okay, let me put it in a simple example. Everyone gets a tap water at their home from municipal corporation, respective municipal corporation. Okay. Now, does that mean that you are generating that water somewhere at your place, like a borewell? No. Government or municipal corporation gathers that water from some dam, they puts it into a centralized location in a water tank, and then they provide that to you. You are using that water from a remote location. Apply that same thing to here. All the infrastructure, or some of the infrastructure, let's say storage, compute, software, whatever, you are using from some third-party survivor, third-party provider. Okay, I'm sitting at my home and you want to store, let's say, 10 GB of some random files or some videos. Okay, and your computer doesn't have enough space. What you do, you upload it to OneDrive, either Google OneDrive or Apple Cloud OneDrive, whatever you are using, you upload it to that, right? Does that mean that you bought memory card or you increased the hard disk of your computer? No, you just opted for the service. You didn't even buy the physical memory racks, right? That is basically cloud. Somewhere Google or Apple or whatever the provider you are using is, they had that memory stored empty. What you did is you asked them, I need your memory to access. They said yes, which is indirectly, and you just put your files there. They are somewhere at a physical location. Okay. The terminology is data centers. These companies which provide these services, they store the data into data centers. What data centers are? Data centers are nothing but the big racks of storage, big racks of compute. Rather than one single hard disk, they have multiple hard disks and then multiple spaces. Okay. This is in simple terms cloud. Now, any confusion or questions in the what is cloud?
No, sir.
No,
Now, what are the advantages of cloud? First and foremost is infrastructure. Now, as I given you just an example, let's say you need right now you need 10 GB of storage space. Okay, you might need in future 20 GB, or you might not need 20 GB. You might need 1 terabytes, or you might not need 1 terabytes. After 1 month of using 1 terabytes of storage, your data volume drastically decreased for so and so reason, and you only need 500 GBs, which is half of that, right? Into on-premises system, or what you need to do is you need to, let's say you are hoping to have 1 terabyte of storage. You need to buy 1 terabyte of storage at given point of time. Like today, I need to buy 1 TB of storage, and slowly I will start using that. How? First, I'll put 1 GB data, 2 GB data, 10 GB I'll use for a month. Then I'll anticipate, okay, my data will increase. I'll put 20 GB. If it is not increasing, although I'm using 1 TB, I already paid for 1 TB. Okay. With cloud, it is not like that. Let's say today you need 10 GB, you opt for 10 GB. Tomorrow you need 20 GB, you opt for 20 GB. Let's say day after tomorrow, you don't need 20 GB. It's coming back again to 10 GB. You go back to 10 GB again. And it is just as a simple click of a button. You didn't need to go to buy something, or you don't need a separate infrastructure team to come to your office, install the storage, have the downtime for you. Okay. It is as simple as that. Those who have been working into IT for a long time, they will know what I'm talking about maintenance. Okay. Even now I can explain. So when we need to change the infrastructure, right, we need to shut down the system, we need to remove or add on to something, we need to switch back the system on, we need to test the system whether it is working fine. These are the 4 steps involved into that. Okay. Now imagine all these 4 steps applying into very large infrastructure for a large company. They have a downtime of 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, more than that. And then on top of that, when you have downtime, your resources are not working, your funds are wasted. On top of that, you need to pay the maintenance guys separately. Whoever is doing maintenance, you need to maintain that team, you need to pay them, and all this involves. In cloud, you don't have to do that thing. That provider is doing everything for you. It's his responsibility to maintain the infrastructure, to make sure it is upgraded, to make sure it is whatever you need, it is the way that it is. Okay. Any questions till this point?
Hello, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, is I am audible?
Yes.
Sir, can you repeat the 4 factors influencing the maintenance once again?
Okay. When you have to maintenance, when we perform maintenance on something, is basically you switch off whatever system that you are going to do the maintenance on, then you add on or remove something onto that, then you again turn back the system on, and afterwards you test the system whether after removing that component, putting back that component, whether everything is working fine or not within that system. It's basically the 4 things that we generally perform while doing the maintenance. Third advantage or plus point within the cloud is scalability. You can scale it easily, which I explained while explaining the infrastructure. You can scale it from higher tier to lower tier. You can scale it from lower tier to higher tier. Okay, like the storage, like or the compute also. Right now, your system has, let's say, 8 GB of RAM, and tomorrow you are playing some game which is not working on 8 GB. It needs basic thing is 16 GB. What you do, you go to market, you buy a RAM, or you buy a new laptop. Either of these 2 options, or you stop playing the game. Okay. Let's say you're playing the same game onto the cloud where you're using right now 8 GB for some game that you're playing, but the new game that you want to play is 16 GB. Just go to your UI, you make it increase from 8 GB to 16 GB, and you play the game. Now, once you are done with playing the game, you reduce it back to 8 GB. Done. You don't need to go to buy something to market. You don't need to stop playing the game. You can continue, and then you can reduce it as well. Okay. That is scalability. Scalability is something you can scale up, down. That's all. Okay. You can increase it or decrease it. Now, the cost into on-premises system, or when you buy a laptop. Okay. You buy it considering that, okay, I'm going to use a laptop for, let's say, 4 or 5 years minimum. That's why I need at least the latest processor which is there available in the market. And let's say I need 1 TB of RAM considering the storage amount. And I also might need the top end processor or the second top end processor because it will last for 4 or 5 years and it will not lag. Okay. So right now, considering the next 5 years, you're investing 1 lakh rupees into that. But today, when you buy it, you are only using for 20,000 rupees. You don't need the 8 GB RAM, you are enough with 2 GB RAM, you're enough with 100 GB of storage and rest of the compute. Okay, that is with the on-premises system. What's with the cloud is we only pay. Okay, the money that we pay is only for the services that we use. Okay, whether I'm using a storage, I don't need to pay for 1 terabyte of storage if I need a 1 terabyte of storage after a month. Okay, today I am using for 10 GB, so I only pay for 10 GB today. Tomorrow, if I'm using the same 10 GB, I keep on paying or continue paying 10 GB. If I increase to 50 GB or reduce back to 5 GB, my cost will increase or reduce. Okay, so that is the one of the advantages, or I can say a flexible advantages that most of the companies think of, these 4 points, and that's why we shift to the cloud. Okay, any question in these 4 points?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, there are some limitations or disadvantages. I won't use a disadvantage as a word because if we manage it carefully and monitor it carefully, it won't be a disadvantage. But still, let's say it is something that you must be careful about when you are shifting to the cloud. Okay. First thing is security. Okay. When you are shifting to the cloud and you're putting your data into the cloud, it means you are putting it to an unknown location. You don't know where your data is. Okay, let's say I am providing you the cloud services. You put your data into cloud. What if I just connect to your cloud and try to read your data? If there is a sensitive information, you have to be very careful when you are putting that into the cloud. Okay, so security is one of the concerns when secure institutes like finance or any other institute try very cautiously try to move into cloud, or they avoid to move into the cloud. Okay, second is cost. Now I explained you that cost of the cloud is based on what we use. It doesn't depend on something like what you will use in future. It only thing is what you are using is you are paying for. But let me give an example with this. Everyone uses Gmail, right? When you initially downloaded Gmail, started using, you used to receive the emails. You used to read every email, assuming, and then you used to clean that email once, let's say, you thought that you don't need the email, it's a spam email or junk email. But today, right now, there must be most of the people who have at least 500 plus or 1000 plus unread emails inbox because the spam, junk, you don't need it from some subscriber or whatnot. Okay. It is possible that there's a very important email in between that you missed it, or it might not be possible. Same thing is with the cloud. Okay, when there are tens and 15s of services as available as a click of button, you get it, you use it, and you just forgot it that service is there, or that service might be internal using 2 3 different services which has different costings, and that you are not aware of unless you go into very detail. So it is very important to put a cost control when using a cloud, cost monitoring, and that to be frequent. So cost control is the service providers provide you that, okay, total limit of $1,000 on your provider. So whenever your cost will go on $1,000, it will stop or it will not go above $1,000. Then you manually go into that and check why it is going above $1,000, or do I need to go above that and take that. Monitoring, you should frequently monitor, like every day, every week, or every month. You should monitor the cost, the trends, so that it won't spike up. I will give an example. Okay, in one of my previous organization, there is a service into a cloud. It's called graph service. Okay, and it is very interesting. What it does is basically whatever information you have into object, it takes that information. If there is a location, pin code, or some information, it takes that. It's try to plot the graph onto the reporting service. Okay, someone was trying that service, not aware of what the cost of that service is. Okay. And he put that the graph was very beautiful. Everyone appreciated that graph and it was very nice. After 1 week, when we were observing the cost of that service that we incurred, but it was almost more than $12,000. And that too within a week. Okay. So basically that was the point I was trying to state is the cost monitoring and cost control is very important when it comes to the cloud. Okay. Any questions at this point?
So can you throw a little bit light on the CloudStrike outrage which happened recently?
Okay. The CloudStrike outage has nothing to do, first of all, with the engineering, one thing. And second thing, like our course. And second thing, it is not something that cost control or something like that. It's a software update made by a third party for Microsoft, didn't go well, and a service go down. Okay. I can put that in very brief and simple terms.
Okay, sir.
So, hybrid infrastructure or hybrid cloud. Okay. We talked about on-premises. There are some advantages on-premises. We talked about cloud. There are many advantages into cloud. Okay. What if I want to combine both? Okay. I don't want to take the security risk, but I want to have the services of cloud. Okay. So there are organizations which uses hybrid or hybrid cloud. Okay. What they do is they put their data into their own system. Okay. They have their own infrastructure to put their data. When to use the compute and other services, they approach to the cloud. Okay, so the data will not go out of the system, it will just stay in the system. But services like software or platform services, they take from the cloud. Okay, and that is what a hybrid infrastructure or hybrid cloud system is. Any question?
No, sir.
Now let's so